Hello. Hello.
ರೂಟ್ ಎನ್ನಿಗ ಓಕೆ
Hello.
ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಸಿಗ್ತಾಯಿಲ್ಲ
Hello. Hello. Good afternoon. Okay, today we'll be dealing with one of the algorithm called as logistic regression. In the last class, we were doing multiple linear regression. So whenever my output is a continuous variable, we were going for uh, linear regression. So whenever I have output such as like 1 and 0, some discrete output will be going for logistic regression. This is called as classification problem, where we have where we need to classify either it as 0 or 1. So then we go for logistic regression. So here I'll just provide a brief theory behind this. Afterwards, we'll just do a programming part. Classification problems are important category of problems in which the response variable is discrete value. So in the linear regression, what we are doing, we are taking the we were having the outputs as continuous value. Here we have the outputs as discrete value. So we go for classification or logistic regression. Actually, the classification can be performed using various algorithms. One is called as logistic regression, whatever we are studying today, and another is called as decision trees. We can apply the decision trees also. There are different ways to do the classification. So here we'll be just studying about the logistic regression for this class. So classification, these are the examples. Like if I want to do different hello. So here we have one example where we want to find whether there is some damage to the aircraft or there is no damage to the aircraft based on the launching temperature. Based on the launching temperature, they are trying to find whether there is a damage to the aircraft or there is no damage to the aircraft. So now if they do a scatter plot of temperature versus damage, so they'll be getting a plot like this. So here in this plot, in this plot, I cannot draw a regression like the regression line like this. I cannot develop a regression model like this, so that what will happen? There is a error here, so much of error here. There is so much of error here. So there may be less error here, but there are so much of amount of errors here. So instead of doing a model like this, what will I do? I develop a model such that the model is almost like this. So the model will be somewhat like this in the terms of z. It will be looking like a z. So that is this function, whichever it is looking like a z, it is called as logit function. So when we are doing for logistic regression, we'll be having a function somewhat like this in the form of z. So this is called as logit function, which is given by e power z by 1 plus e power z. So e power z by 1 plus e power z. So e power z by 1 plus e power z, where this z is equal to z equal to beta naught plus beta 1 x. So wherever z is there, in place of z, I will be having beta naught plus beta 1 x. In the previous example, whatever we have studied, my x is temperature, launch temperature, and f of z or y, this is my y. So this y is my, this is y equal to e power z by 1 plus e power z. This y is my, whether there is a damage to o-ring or there is no damage to the o-ring. So what is the aim of us is, we are trying to find whether there is a damage to o-ring or not. Hello, am I audible?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
So here we are trying to find the logistic function. So this is called as logic function or logistic function here. So here z is given by beta naught plus beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x2 plus beta n xn. So here we'll be applying a method called as maximum likelihood estimation. So when we are doing the linear regression, we are doing something called as OLS method, meaning is ordinary least squares method. So here we are applying a method called as maximum likelihood estimation. Maximum likelihood estimation means, like, what is the probability that the output will be 1, means we are trying to find what is the probability that my output y is equal to 1. So only it is called as likelihood estimation. So previously we were having the continuous variable, here we are trying to find the probability value, either my output can be 0 or 1. So now what we are trying to find is, using the parameters, we are trying to find what is the probability that my y is equal to 1. So now if we just go to the coding part. So here initially I'm just reading my pandas library and Seaborn library, NumPy library here. So afterwards I'm just reading the matplotlib and stats model. And I'm just reading my, all of you have installed Spider or PyTorch or
Yes, sir.
PyCharm. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
once this is done, I'll just be sharing this video in the group. You can just try to solve it on your own, because here the meeting we can do for only 40 minutes. So what I'll do, I'll just share this video to you people. You can explore later. Okay. First, I'll just finish off the explanation. So here first I'm just reading the file. So once I read the file, you can see that I have got my data here. So in the Excel file, whatever I have three things. One is flight number, what is the flight number, and what is the launch temperature, and whether there is a damage to the ring or there is no damage to the ring. So if there is a damage to the ring, we have denoted it by 1. If there is no damage to the ring, we have denoted it by 0. So now we are just trying to plot my x versus y. Here my x is launch temperature and y is, so y is whether there is a damage. So here if you see, directly I cannot draw a model like this. I cannot develop any model like this. So I cannot develop a model like this. So instead what will I do? So instead I'll just develop somewhat model in this pattern. So we are trying to develop a model in a logistic regression using a logit curve. This curve is called as logit curve. So we'll use a logistic regression model. So here now I'm taking my X as launch temperature and Y as damage to the O-ring. It has just run the entire file. So now my X and Y is generated. So X is this one, Y is whether there is a damage to O-ring or no damage to the O-ring. So here I'm just creating one variable called as X1. So X1, it is same as X, but you have extra column of constant because I'll be having beta naught plus beta 1 X1. So this for beta naught column, I'm just creating a constant here. Afterwards, what is this line number 28 doing? So this line number 28, it is dividing my entire data set into training data set and testing data set with a train size of 0.8. So here in the linear regression model, we were using here as sm.ols. OLS meaning it was ordinary least squares method. So here we are applying a logistic regression model. So we are using it as .logit. Afterwards, we are using a training data set and testing data set. Train X and train Y, and we are trying to develop a model here. So now it has developed a model. If I want to see the model output parameters and all, so we are just giving it as summary. So now I got a summary here. So what is the summary here? So I got the value of constant as, I got beta naught equal to 21.86. 0.86, you can see here, you can see that one here, and beta 1 equal to minus 0.3358. So this is the value what I got here. So this is my beta naught and this is my beta 1. So now if I want to write the output equation for this, we can write it as P of probability of Y equal to 1 equal to exponential of Z by 1 plus exponential of Z, where my Z value equal to beta naught is 21.86. Z value is 21.86 plus beta 1 is minus 0.33 minus 0.335 into X, damage to the O-ring. So now this is my model, whatever model I have developed now. So now this is my model. So now in the testing data set, already in the test part, we have few values. If I put the values of test X, then I'll be getting the actual output. So this is my model development. So once you get the model parameters, what you have to do is you have to list out what is the value of beta naught, what is the value of beta 1. So using that, you have to write what is the value of Z. So after writing Z, what you have to write? So probability of Y equal to 1 when you give some X. So then I'll be getting exponential of z by 1 plus exponential of z, means e power z by 1 plus e power z. So this is my model output. All of you copied this? Is it clear? So next we have something called as, we are trying to find how many ones and how many zeros are there. So by using this statement, dot value counts will give how many ones and how many zeros are there. If you just open this data frame, if you just try to, I'll just count the number of ones. Once it should be 7. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Totally I have 7 ones and 17 zeros. So now what we are trying to find with this is, so now already we have developed a model here. Using that model, we are trying to find what is the value of y for my test x. So test x is my input now. So for that test x, what is the y I am getting? So I am trying to find. So I'll just run this, we'll just see. So now if you just see the data frame here, so it has now created a data frame here. So now for index 6, so for index 6, if the launch temperature is 72 degrees, I'm getting the probability, predicted probability as 0.08. So next, if the input is 57 degrees centigrade, I'm getting the predicted probability as 0.93. Similarly, it has predicted the probability, means using that equation, whatever we have found out previously, P of y equal to 1, means probability of y becoming 1 when you provide some x, that is equal to e power z by 1 plus e power z. So now we'll define a value called as cutoff probability. So now next we just define a value called as cutoff probability. We define a value called as cutoff probability. So let the cutoff probability be some 0.5. So if this predicted probability is greater than cutoff probability, we'll make the output as 1. If it is less than the cutoff probability, we'll make the output as 0. So what will I get for the first input now here? So I have 0.08. 0.08 is less than 0.5. So I will be getting the output as 0. Similarly, 0.93 is greater than 0.5. I'll be getting the output as 1. Are you people understanding? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now for the third case, what I have? I have 0.004. So 0.004 is less than 0.5. So I'll be getting the output as 0. Next I have 0.03. I'll be getting the output as 0. And here also 0. Assume that I change my cutoff probability as some 0.3. Instead of giving it cutoff probability as 0.5, what will I do? I'll give the cutoff probability as some 0.3. So again, what will happen to my output here? So here again, this is less than 0.3. So I'll be getting the output as 0. So 0.93 is greater than 0.3. So I'll be getting the output as 1. So 0.04 is less than 0.3. So I'll be getting the output as 0. And 0.03 is less than 0.3. So I'll be getting it as 0. And 0.34 is greater than 0.3. So I'll be getting the output as 1. So based on my cutoff probability, my output also will change. So we have to choose an appropriate cutoff probability. So there is a method called method to find the appropriate probability. So I just show that one. So here what we are doing, first we are trying to predict what is the probability of y becoming 1. So afterwards, we are defining some cutoff probability. After defining the cutoff probability, what we are doing, we are we are making the same continuous value. Either we are making it as 0 or 1 here, based on the cutoff probability. If my predicted probability is less than the cutoff probability, I'll make the output as 0. If my predicted probability is greater than the cutoff probability, I'll make it as 1. We'll just execute the next statement, so we'll get to know. See here, this statement will do that only. Here, if x is greater than 0.5, what we'll do, I'll make the output as 1. If it is less than 0.5, I'll make the output as 0. I'll just run this one. See, now one more extra column is added here. So it has compared with 0.5. It has compared here with 0.5 value. Afterwards, here it is more than 1. Means I have only one data where we have 0.93. It is greater than 0.5. So it has predicted it as 1. All the others it has become as 0. So I'll just change this value to some 0.3. So I'll just change this value to 0.3. We'll just recompile it again. See, I got 0, 1, 0, 0, 1. So based on my cutoff probability, I'll be getting the values. So next we have something called as confusion matrix. So last time we were just doing the same thing using the Excel. So I'll just explain that confusion matrix here. So later we'll go and see the same in the Python code. So it is also called as classification table or confusion matrix. So here what we are doing is this side is called as actual values. Means this is my horizontal side is my actual outputs. So this is my predicted output. So now whether it is negative or positive, it will depend on the predicted output. So here if you just see first column, I'll just explain. So in the first column, if you go, what is there? My output is predicted as 0. So I'll be getting as negative. In this also my output is predicted as 0. So I'm getting as negative. So if actual 0 is predicted as 0, then it is called as true negative. Means 0 is correctly predicted as 0. That is called as true negative. Similarly, we have something called as false negative. False negative means actually my output is 1, but my model is predicting it as 0. So it is called as false negative. So what will be false positive? So what will be false positive?
Predicted value is 0, but it's actually 1.
Yeah. No, false positive. False positive means it has predicted as 1, but actually it is 0.
Okay.
So always this positive and negative depends on the predicted value. So my predicted value is 1, but actual output is 0. So it is called as false positive. Next we have something called as true positive. So that is called as classification table, or it is also called as confusion matrix. Either it is called as classification table or confusion matrix. So where we have true positive, true negative, false positive, and false negative. So we are trying to find all these four values. So that is called as confusion matrix. So this particular command, it is just trying to find the confusion matrix for me. So what I'm giving to this, so I'm providing what is the test underscore y is my actual output, predicted is my predicted output. So this is my actual output and this is my predicted output. So I got the matrix like this. I got like 2, 1, 1, 1. So my 2 is true positive, sorry, true negative. So this one is my false negative. So this one is 0 is, it is a false positive, and this one is true positive. So these are the four values I'll be getting. So here we have the matrix, right? Similarly, if I just change the cutoff value here, so if I just change the cutoff value, my true values also will change here. So how to choose that cutoff probability, I'll just explain later. So now just what I'm trying to do is, we are trying to find something called as accuracy score. So we are getting the accuracy score as 0.6. If you just observe, I have one false negative and I have one false positive. So out of 5 test values, it has predicted 3 correctly and 2 wrongly. So I have my accuracy as 0.6. So now I'll just change the value of the cutoff probability as some 0.5. So if I change the cutoff probability as 0.5, and then just run the same confusion matrix and score. See, now it is like how many are misclassified. So there is only one case where it is misclassified. So out of 5 cases, one is misclassified. So I have accuracy of 0.8. So here what it is doing, this one is just typing how many, what all are there. So I have 3 as true negatives, 1 false negative, 1 true positive, and 1 false positives. So next we have something called as classification report. So next we have something called as sensitivity and specificity. So this is very important to find your cutoff probability, means what is the approximate, means the optimum cutoff probability. To find that one, we use this one. Sensitivity means how many zeros are correctly classified as zeros. So that is called as sensitivity. So I'll just keep it as 0.3. So if I keep it as 0.3, so I got the formula for sensitivity is D38 and C38. So D38 and C38. So this is one. See, I have zeros here. Sensitivity means how many ones are correctly classified. So I have some 7 ones are there. In that 7 ones, so 4 are correctly classified and 3 are not correctly classified. So totally 7 ones are there. Out of that, 4 are correctly classified. That is called as sensitivity. Similarly, specificity means how many zeros are correctly classified. So it is true negative by true negative plus false positive. That is the equation. So sensitivity is equal to true positive by true positive plus false negative. I'll just write the equation here. So sensitivity equation is true positive divided by true positive plus false plus false negative. Means how many ones are correctly classified. That is what we are trying to find here. So specificity means it is true negative divided by true negative plus false positive. So that is called as specificity. So sensitivity means how many ones are correctly classified as ones. So specificity means how many zeros are properly classified as zeros. So now what we'll do, we'll just vary the cutoff probability here. First I'll give 0.05. So if I give the 0.05, I got the sensitivity as 1 and specificity as 0.23. So now we'll calculate an index called as Uden index. So this, based on this Uden index, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find the optimum cutoff probability. So Uden index is equal to sensitivity. So this is equal to sensitivity plus specificity minus 1. This is the formula for Uden index. So for each value of cutoff probability, I'm just trying to find the Uden index. So here, if I give 0.05 as my input, cutoff probability, I got the specificity as 1, that I have updated here. Specificity as 0.23, that I have updated here. So using that, I have found that Uden index. Similarly, what I'll do, I'll update my cutoff probability as some 0.1. So if I update my cutoff probability as 0.1, I got 0.53, 0.857 and 0.411. So using that, I have found the Uden index. So from 0 to 1, I have found it at different intervals. I just found it the Uden index. Afterwards, if I just see for 0.5 and 0.6, I'm getting the maximum Uden index. So wherever I get a maximum Uden index, then that is my optimum cutoff value. That is called as, means that cutoff value, I have to take it as a cutoff probability. So if I take a cutoff probability in between 0.55 and 0.6, so I'll be getting almost the correct prediction. That is called as Uden's index. Uden's index. So this is about your logistic regression. So I'll be sharing this script file and the dataset file for you people. So if you are getting any issues or if you are getting any doubts, you can just contact me over the phone. Okay. Since the meeting I can schedule it only for 40 minutes, I was just rushing through the concept. So if you are getting any kind of doubts, you can just ask me. Any doubts you people are getting? So you people try to do the same on your PCs. So if you are getting any doubts, you people can please ask me later. Later also you can ask. Uden's index means, so here what I am doing, for each value of cutoff probability, I am finding what is the value of sensitivity and what is the value of specificity. So after finding, I am just tabulating here. So for 0.1, I have 0.857 and specificity I have it as 0.411. So Uden's index formula is sensitivity plus specificity minus 1. So from 0 to 1, I can have maximum cutoff probability as 1 because probability always lies in between 0 and 1. So what I have done from 0 to 1, in different intervals, what I have done, I have taken 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 like that. I have taken different values. I have given the values like this. If I give the values like 0.7. So if I give it as 0.7, I got 0.42 and 0.1. So that 0.42 and 0.1 I have updated here. I calculated the Uden's index, means K34, J34 plus K34 minus 1 means it is. So J34 is my sensitivity plus specificity minus 1. So for different values of cutoff probability, I found the Uden's index here. If you just observe this table, I have the maximum value here in between for 0.5 and 0.6. So if I take a cutoff probability as in between 0.5 and 0.6, I'll be getting the better accuracy in the model. So that is what is the meaning of the Udens index. So wherever I have maximum Udens index, that cutoff probability I'll be taking. So that is Udens index. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರಾಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇವಾಗ ಯೂಡನ್ಸ್ ಇಂಡೆಕ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಕಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರಾಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. So if you observe previously, I took 0.3. When I took 0.3 as my cutoff probability, I got the accuracy as 60%. But when I took the cutoff probability as 0.5, I got the accuracy as 80%. So I had to choose the cutoff probability in a better way. So we'll be using something called as Udens index to choose the cutoff probability. Okay, Charan?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, like you, I'll just share this script file and other things also to you people. You just try it out. So now in the
Sir,
meeting,
ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದಿರಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್ ಹಂಗೆ.
I'll share this also. I have recorded this. I'll share this also. So you can try it out on your PCs. So if you are getting any doubts, you can just call me back through phone or anything. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you can exit from the meeting.
Thank you, sir.
All of you
Thank
have
you, sir.
updated the attendance.
Sir,
Sir.
updated.
Okay. Thank you.
Sir, internet, sir.
Hmm?
Internet, sir.
I'll just let you know in the group. Night.
Okay, sir.
Night time is up.
Bobs.
Big fan, bro.
Hey, Bobs.
ಏನೋ
ಆಯ್ತೇನ ಊಟ?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಗುರು, ನೀನು ನಿಂದು?
ಆಯ್ತು.
ಸರಿ ಮಚ್ಚ.